We are joined on the phone today by singer Joyann Parker, and she has a show coming up at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. It's called The Music of Patsy Cline. The show is on Sunday, March 21st, dinner at 5, show at 7. Hey, Joyann, how you doing today?
I am fine. How are you?
I am excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time out with me.
Sure, no problem.
Well, first of all, I know you've got a show coming up at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. It's called The Music of Patsy Cline. First of all, can you tell the listeners a bit about what we're in for with the upcoming show?
Well, this is a show we've been doing for about a little over 3 years. It's been a really great run of shows. People really love it. What we do is we go from the beginning of Patsy's career to the end. We do her songs in chronological order, and then I also tell the story of her life and some of the stories behind the songs along the way, and we just have a really good time.
And the show is coming up on Sunday, March 21st. Dinner at 5, show at 7. I know you can get tickets on the website or at the box office at Chanhassen. I imagine there's probably limited tickets, not just because the show is right around the corner here, but, all the restrictions and stuff. So definitely, if you want to get to the show, you should probably get on those tickets right now.
Right, yeah, and they still are at a limited capacity. So, yeah, definitely. And then we usually do pretty well on tickets. So, I would advise people to get their tickets as soon as they can.
Well, I know you mentioned, obviously the music of Patsy Cline's there, but you tell some stories about her life and her career as well. She was definitely a no-nonsense lady behind the scenes. Yeah,
and there are some, like I say, I think people will know some of the things, but there are definitely some fun stories about her. She was definitely a trailblazer for women in the music industry because of what you just said. She didn't want to do what anybody else wanted to do. She wanted to do what she wanted to do because she had some bad experiences early in her career, and she decided she didn't want to let that happen anymore. So after that, she definitely took control of her career and made her own decisions. And so there are some fun stories in there about her. There's also some songs people might not all know. We don't do all the ringers. We do the ringers, but we also do some deeper cuts and stuff. So if you're a real big Patsy fan, you'll know them. But maybe you come and you hear some things you haven't heard before.
Awesome. Well, Joyann, what is it about Patsy Cline and her music that made you want to pay tribute to her on stage? Was it just the music, or was it her personality? Maybe a bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both, I think. I'm kind of late. I've been doing music all my life, but I'm kind of a latecomer to what I do now, which is what I do in my career. My own band is blues and Americana and stuff. So when I started delving into that music about 8 or 9 years ago, I found Patsy again. Because I think when I was younger, old country music, when you're younger, I think you think it's kind of boring. At least I did. And plus, I grew up in northern Wisconsin. It's kind of all we had, so I didn't want to listen to it. So
Sure.
Rediscovering her was very interesting because I had a different perspective, both with my career that I had undertaken as a musician, and being a mom, also what she was, a working mom, and then also finding out her story, which I felt like I had a lot in common with in a lot of ways, because I feel like our personalities were probably a little bit similar, and like I said, with being a mom and being on the road and all that kind of stuff. So I really felt like I resonated with her as a person and her music, because I think she really is more of a blues singer because of the music she sings. It's so emotional, and also the way that she sang. So there's a quote actually that I use in the show. When she was on American Bandstand, Dick Clark asked her about the way she sang, and she said, "Oh, I just sing like I heard inside." And I always think, well, that's kind of true for a blues singer too. But it's more with that grabbing of emotion. So I really felt like I resonated with her.
Excellent. Well, again, the show, The Music of Patsy Cline, is coming up on Sunday, 5 o'clock dinner, 7 o'clock show. And you mentioned doing tribute to Patsy Cline, outside of this Sunday. Maybe the listeners will have a chance to see you do the show somewhere else if they can't catch it this weekend.
Yeah, we'll be back at Chan, I'm sure, in the future, and then we also play at Crooners, and we're going to be there doing that show quite a bit. We'll be there again, actually, on the 28th, so the next weekend. But yeah, you can check my schedule at joyannparker.com for all the shows. We have a bunch of shows coming up.
And of course, you mentioned your music outside of the Patsy Cline show. I know you've been performing around Minneapolis and this area for quite a while now.
Yeah, it's been in different ways. Yeah, for about 9 years. We just released a new CD, the regular band under my name, Joyann Parker, and that's been doing really well. Made it on the Billboard chart, on the blues chart. So yeah, it's been going really well. We have, we played the Dakota and crooners a lot, and then we've been, we tour. At least we were before everything, before COVID. But we're getting back on the road again and going to be in Des Moines and Omaha. And so we've been really pretty successful. So it's been going well.
Yeah, definitely. I want to ask you a bit more about the new album, Out of the Dark. Can you tell the listeners a bit about it? Because, as you mentioned, kind of the same as far as the blues, but definitely different than maybe the Patsy Cline show.
Yeah, definitely. I think people I've found when they come to one of the shows and then go to the other, they find a good connection there. I don't think you're going to feel alienated at all if you go to one or the other. I think if you like one, you like the other for the most part. But yeah, the new record is very eclectic. I'm a very eclectic person in my music taste because I like a lot of different things. It is very roots-based. I have a hard time putting a genre on it, honestly, because it is so eclectic. But I think I would go with Americana because that's the most forgiving. Because there's gospel on it. There's a Latin tinge to it. There's a straight up, Sam Cooke 1950s kind of dance rocker song, and then there's straight up, like Southern rock on there too. So it's really, it goes kind of all over the map, but within those parameters. I mean, you're not gonna hear me rap on there for sure. It definitely stays within those parameters. But yeah, it's just a collection of songs that I write them along with my partner Mark. But they're mostly my songs, and so they are pieces of me. They're all me, which. I think that representation is really good because I am so varied in what I love and like to do. So I think, and people will find something for it that they like on that record for sure.
Excellent. Yeah, I've seen a lot of positive reviews for the new album, and people are really digging it. And it's so interesting. I don't know if it's because we're so close to maybe Chicago, but there's definitely a very big following for blues music around here, and just all over the Midwest.
Yeah, I think Chicago has a lot to do with it. We have, as I was coming up in the scene here in the last 10 years, I've met a lot of people who were musicians in Chicago and then did move here, and I learned from a lot of those people at the jams and stuff in Minneapolis. And so, yeah, there definitely is a definite Chicago influence here, and yeah, it's weird because. It has to be that, I would think. I mean, well, with Kansas City too. You've got Kansas City down
Sure.
there, and so we're kind of surrounded by it that way, I guess. And Minneapolis has its own thing going on too, so it kind of mixes it up too. But yeah, definite support for that type of music around here.
So, who could you point to, I guess, to say was like a big influence for you as far as that style of music? There aren't a lot of I don't know how to put white ladies from the Midwest who sing the blues, I guess, that you could look up to as a kid. So how do you arrive at that point?
Well, I found this music real late in life. I have always been a singer. I've always been a piano player. I went to school for music to be a band director. So I've always had music in my life, but not this. Like I said, I grew up in northern Wisconsin where we have like 5 country music stations and a classic rock station, and that's about it. So I didn't know this music until about 10 years ago. I just kind of happened to get into a band just kind of by chance, honestly. And that was the music they wanted to do, was more of in the blues vein. And so I just kind of started digging into it then. So I didn't really have influences in that particular genre until then. I would say musically, you can hear a lot of influences in me, from, Ann Wilson. I'm a child of the 80s, so I grew up listening to Heart. I grew up listening to a lot of Clapton and a lot of Led Zeppelin. So, blues, but not, British blues, I guess.
Sure.
And then from there, just finding it as I got older, like I said, about 10 years ago, then I went, okay, what's going on here? What can I find? And then I found Etta James and really dug in. I mean, of course, I knew Aretha Franklin, but I really dug into Aretha Franklin. And what I like are women. I gravitate towards women musicians, but I like the ones that you can feel everything they sing, which is why I love Patsy. But Etta and Aretha are 2 great examples for me of being really authentic and singing and in a way that, and writing for, Aretha, just that is just really real, and you can feel everything, and it moves you. So I would say like those two for sure as far as performance wise. But I really dug into Stax, and after I went to Memphis in like 2015, and so that's really what I fell in love with, is that soul music, and then I just kind of went from there, and then it kind of melded with all the other stuff I had been listening to over the years, Jackson Browne and like all these other things kind of just fell into that. So it really is like a jar of stuff. I always say like I'm kind of like a jar of music, and you just shake it up, and then when I write a song or a sing or whatever, it just kind of whatever comes out comes out. So it really is a big mix of stuff for me.
Awesome. Well, I know it's great timing for you and the release of the album Out of the Dark, because the vaccines are rolling out here, and we're kind of coming out of the dark in a sense, from this pandemic. So you're going to be able to get out there on the road and do some more shows here, hopefully.
Yes. Yep. Summer is looking pretty good for me, and I'm really grateful. So yeah, it was an interesting amount. It was about me and my life, about coming out of the dark when I thought of that title, but it really has been kind of serendipitous the way it's worked out too. So I think it's a very timely record, and the music on it, I think people will find is very encouraging as well.
Well, Joyann, the new album is out, and of course the music of Patsy Cline at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater on Sunday. Is there anything else maybe we should be watching out for coming up for you?
I would just say go to the website, check for shows. We've got a CD release party this weekend. Again, we're on our 4th show. We've sold out 3, so we're doing another one, and there may be another one coming up at Crooners. So because it looks like this one might sell out as well. So we've got some shows coming. People seem to be wanting to come out again and enjoy music, so we would really just love to see them at a show. And like I said, you can go to my website at joyannparker.com for tickets and information and all that stuff.
Excellent. Well, again, Joyann, thank you so much for your time today, and congratulations on the success here of the new album, and hopefully I can see you down the road here soon.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
And again, that was Joyann Parker. You can see her this Sunday, March 21st, at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater with her show, The Music of Patsy Cline, and also her new album, Out of the Dark, is out now.